After Adam and Colin had left a few years ago, Lily and Edward had taken charge of their branch line. Edward handles the services terminating at the big station, as well as the goods. Lily does the passenger runs along the branch, and they share banking duties at nearby Gordon's Hill. Lily pulls a special kind of train called a push-pull. It means on return runs, her driver can control her from the rear coach, and she can push the train. She is most proud of this feature, and it lets her make quick runs. However, one morning Lily wasn't feeling well. Her fire wouldn't start, and she was not well enough to pull her first train. The branch line manager waited on the platform for Edward to come down with the first train from the big station. "Ah, Edward," he proclaimed, "I need you to sort out a bit of a jam. Lily isn't feeling well, and we need you to pull her push-pulls. Stanley will handle the goods and the Fat Controller sending another engine to bank trains." Edward was hesitant. "I'll try, sir, but I've never been a push-pull before." "Oh, that's okay. We're making it a regular stopping train today, so just do your best. The workmen say it will only be a day or two until Lily can take charge again." "Well, in that case, sir, I'll give it a jolly good try." Edward arrived for the first push-pull service a little bit after he had finished his last run. The coaches stood at the platform. "So, you're our replacement?" "I sure am." "He seems too big to be part of a push-pull." "Well, it isn't operating as a push-pull, not today, so I think I'll be fine." "Oh, that won't do at all. We're a pristine service, meant to connect the communities of this peninsula. We do not hesitate to turn around at the end of the line. Such an old clanker running our service will not suffice." Edward was offended. "You'll have to for these runs." The coaches grumbled at this notion as they left the station. Edward just rolled his eyes and soldiered on. When they reached the junction, Edward went to uncouple from the train. "Oh, come on. This old man is dragging us behind." "I already told you, this train isn't operating as a push-pull. I'm allowed to go uncouple and run around." This didn't stop the coaches from whining. They were determined to make the whole run down to the harbor as miserable as possible. They bumped and banged the entire way down. The trip was living hell for Edward. He was tired of their malarkey by the time they got to the last station. His crew got out to talk to the station master. When they got back, his driver spoke to Edward. "All right, so we'll turn around and..." "Oh, no, you won't. We're leaving now. We are a push-pull train." And the coaches bumped the small train into motion. Luckily, Edward's driver chased the runaway down the platform and scrambled into the cab. He screwed on the brakes. Edward was furious but kept his temper. He calmly shunted the coaches into the back of one of the sidings in the yard and collected some of his coaches from his fast train that morning. For the rest of the day, Edward used those coaches instead. The push-pulls sat lonely in the corner of the yard, watching as Edward and Stanley passed. Edward returned to the coaches at the end of the day after giving them a long time to think about their actions. "I have been working fine with other coaches all day, but I'm willing to let you guys have the final run." "Oh, yes, please, we are sorry. You could have really hurt someone today with that stunt you pulled." "Oh, we apologize for our outrageous actions. We just aren't used to our pristine schedule being broken, and And such a big engine taking us, we just wanted Lily back. Edward understood full-heartedly. Lily will hopefully return in a day or two. Until then, you have no choice but to work with me if you want to run it all. And we'll take that option. Good. Let's go then. That run back up to the junction was the smoothest that Edward had had all day. The larger coaches had just not been able to do the commuter runs as effectively as the littler coaches. By the time they had arrived at the junction, the coaches were chatting between each other like any normal run. That was very smooth. Yes, thank you for the run. Thank you for being so agreeable. But I have to leave you here for the night. I'm sure the goods shed will be good enough for you. Goods shed? Oh no, this simply won't do. Well, it was fun while it lasted, chuckled Edward as he departed. Well, I guess some things just never change.